Yes,
I
sir.
mean, it's
Yes, sir.
true.
Yeah.
It really is. If you don't believe, this is the best it gets for you. You know,
Right.
if you do believe, you know that this is and this if this is the word, you know, life's hard, whatever, but it's blessed, man.
Yes,
We're
sir.
blessed
Yes,
to
sir.
be a part of it and watch these things unfold and your kids growing up. And my daughter sent me my little granddaughter singing a Christmas song today. I was at work and my phone buzzes and it's her just swaying and singing this
Yeah.
little song, and you know, I wouldn't have took nothing for that. So I mean, it's not like it's terrible,
Right.
you know, but. So, like you said, there is parts of heavenly places,
I believe.
but if you can't appreciate this,
Right.
how are you going to appreciate that?
Well, see, I mean, I think about it. You know, early on,
I'm not going to give anybody a better gift if they won't enjoy the gift I give them now.
Well, you know, we sung the songs and we talk about the streets of gold. We understand, but I mean, when I think about all that is when I think of a mansion. I don't want a mansion. I live in an 800 square foot house and I love it. Okay, I mean, I don't care about streets of gold. I like to have asphalt up to my driveway so I don't have to drive in the gravel.
Yeah.
But I think about things that we always touted about the great things of glory, and it's just that's a thing that when we talk to people about heaven and talk to them about going. All right, so we're close on this. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, now. I'm going to say this, and this is a little bit controversial, but again, I'm 65, okay? The thing I look at is, I don't think everybody can go, okay? And I know that's hard, okay? I don't think everybody can go to heaven. He said, many are called, few are chosen. My sheep know my voice. And I think what we've done, we press sometimes people. I believe he died for everyone, okay?
Absolutely.
I believe that, okay? He casts the net wide, okay? But in the end, he'll bring his sheep in. And I think sometimes, and I know that's hard to say, man, but I had a group of guys one time outside the church before church, and they were outside, and they were carrying on a little bit, and a bunch of guys were. And so I walked over to them while church is in there singing and stuff, just walked over to them, and they told me, said, "Preacher, don't come over here. We don't want to hear nothing about that." I said, "Well, I'm not going to talk to you about the Lord. It probably won't even work for you." Yeah. I said, "You know, it probably won't." "Well, what makes you think it won't work for you?" I said, "I don't even know if you belong to him." I said, "How am I supposed to know? I mean, I don't know a lot about this stuff anyhow.
Yeah.
I don't know if you belong to him, don't belong to him. You know, well, then they got to asking me questions. I said, I don't want to talk to you about a whole lot because it might even not concern you.
Right.
There's no sense in me carrying this conversation on."
Right.
But see, I know that's a hard thing, and I know because we're reaching out to people all the time.
Sure.
And we're sharing, we're casting the net. But I think there's something about when somebody recognizes his voice and something changes. And you can't make people do that.
No. My dad said one thing one time. He was given an altar call, and I don't remember a whole much about him, but he said, "I'm not the kind of preacher that's going to come back there and pull you to this altar." And I'll never forget this statement. He said, "If the Holy Spirit ain't got enough power to bring you, Raymond Hayes never did." And I you know, it's one of those things that stuck.
Right.
You know, and not knowing one day I'd be a minister.
Right.
You know, being used to open up altar or whatever.
Right. Yes, sir.
And it does. It's like, yeah, if he's not got enough to pull you out, I don't.
Right.
I can give you 5 speeches and great, but if he can't draw you out, Lawrence ain't drawing you.
I think sometimes it's because if you're a gifted orator and you got great persuasion and you possibly been a used car salesman, you can get people to the altar.
Sure.
Okay, and we can bring people to the altar. We can do that through all kinds of things. But what happens is I think sometimes, I said this before, I said, when people join the church, when they first join the church, you ought to make them crawl through the window about the first 30 days. You know, not let them come through the front door. Find out if they're serious about it, okay? Really find out if it's something that they really want to do.
Yeah.
Because what we do, if we're truly building an army of God, we use that term, this army of God. But anyway, we come in, and when they blow that horn in the morning in the army, and they come in and kick the bed, the sergeant he don't say, "Honey, it's time to get up."
Right.
But so often in our nature to bring people to the Lord and to keep them there, we don't handle them like soldiers.
Right.
I mean, you know,
Right.
I mean, I don't know that's hard because people go through things.
Listen, I mean, you take it to a lot of things in life, right? 2-a-days for football, right?
Mm-hmm.
it's not only to get you in shape. That's to take the people who are not serious to get out there on Friday night and get hit in the mouth.
Okay.
You know, once they run a couple of miles and they're like, I ain't doing this, ain't for me.
Right.
You know, somebody told me one time, they said, I don't go to that, you know, church thing because weak people need Jesus. And I'm like, you know what? I feel the opposite. I think if you can do whatever you want to do, it doesn't take any courage. It doesn't take any discipline. It doesn't take any mindset.
Right.
For me, it takes strength to go, okay, I'm going to follow his will because his path has nothing to do with my fleshly nature.
Yeah.
So I have to tap out of that and trust him.
Right.
You know, and so I get what you're saying with that.
I mean,
a lot of people just don't want to endure.
This is a narrow way, okay?
Right.
And it seems like I've got friends of mine that are pretty strict in some areas, okay, of church. A little stricter than I am, okay, but they're pretty strict. And it seems like a lot of people are drew to that, though, because they want that discipline. And when we come to the Lord, there's parts of this, and there's some people that are willy-nilly. Okay, I understand all that. And I've met some old hippies that just talked about the good man upstairs.
Yeah.
And they seemed very honest.
Right.
Okay, but they didn't know a lot about it. And
Right.
you know, and I've got friends of mine now that absolutely don't know anything about the Lord. Don't even, you know, went to church. I got one buddy of mine, he went to church years ago, and it wasn't a good experience for him. I ain't never going back, and he don't even have an idea.
Yeah.
But I can look at the reflection in his life, how undisciplined he is.
Right.
And I like him.
Yeah.
But he's undisciplined, constant catastrophes.
Right.
And because, all right, so we talked about forgiveness. We talk about heaven. All right, so when I think about this thing, I begin to think, I don't know, in life, okay, we have stuff that we deal with in our heart that nobody else deals with.
Right.
Okay, and we sort of push things back, you know, instead of being honest with the Lord, because that's the challenge. And you touched on that a minute ago.